How you guys all doing? Oh, let me just fix that. I apologize for taking so long to get this done. You guys will not believe how busy today has been. It has been so incredibly busy. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed that little bit of bonus I gave you. I wasn't even planning on doing this, but then I decided I wasn't even planning on doing this, but then I decided, you know what? You guys can hear me, right? It says the audio is really low. Let me boost it up then. How's that? Does that sound better? Oh, damn it. My studio light just fell. Everything is a bit cramped here. My volume is very low. How's this? I just cranked it all the way up. I can hear fine. Okay, that's good. That is bizarre. The sound levels do seem to be lower than usual. I sound clear as day. Oh, that sounds great, Trevor. I hope you good luck on that. I can hear you, Eric. Okay, I've cranked it all the way up. That's bizarre that it's not even going in the red, and I've cranked it all the way up. That's interesting, curious. Alright, so I wasn't even planning on doing this, what you see on the screen right now, but the problem is that I was, there's a lot of stuff I had to quickly set up, and because there's a lot of stuff I had to set up, I was falling behind, and yeah, that's why the stream happened a bit later. Everything felt like it was taking a bit longer for me to quickly get up, and then I thought I'll just announce this to you while you guys are waiting. I thought I'll announce this for you guys and just show it to you here in picture form while I was setting a bunch of other stuff up. I'll tell you how things were just going all crazy. There was a bunch of stuff I had to do today, personal stuff and stuff for the family. I was also editing videos, I was recording stuff, I was also writing notes and scripts, and then I also lost my as I was trying to get the stream ready, and then my pen ran out of ink. So I had to go and try to find another pen, which I haven't got a bunch left in the house somewhere, so I had to find one. So all of that, and then I had to come and do... Yeah, Big Bash, you're right, I am a very busy man. Like, there was a lot I had to do, so I apologize for the later stream than usual. But I'm here now, and we can start talking about this stuff. Also, the topic that we are talking about in terms of... The topic that we're talking about today in terms of... what was it? The topic that we're talking about today in terms of the budget for Captain America Brave New World. Believe it or not, for the last 2 days, I've actually written a script, recorded the script, and edited a ton of the video. So that is actually, I've actually got a proper video production kind of like lined up where I talk about the budget for Captain America Brave New World. So that is coming up. I also completed my worst movies list of 2024. I was thinking of putting it up yesterday. I finished it 2 days ago, and I was thinking of putting it up yesterday. But then I thought, you know what? How about I put it up for you right after this live stream? So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be putting it up right after the live stream. I'm going to just create the thumbnail first. The thumbnail is practically done. I just got to change the year, then put it up. So hopefully everything should all go fine. So yeah, after this live stream, I'm going to make the thumbnail, put it up, and you guys should be able to see it. And also, you see this video that is going on Patreon, which is of me reacting to Megamind 2, something that the G Gamer asked me to do. Ooh, Good Times has become a member. Well, welcome, buddy. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Yes, Spirit Hero, the stream has started. Big Bash says, I was going to ask when your top 5 worst movies was going to be uploaded. Thanks, Eric. Yep, I'm going to plan to do it after this stream. I'm going to make the thumbnail. The video's been uploaded. I just have to do the thumbnail, then hit publish, basically. So that's all I've got left to do. So yeah, basically that's what was going on. So that's me giving you just a quick sort of like rundown as to what I've been up to. And I literally finished editing this video, this Megamind video, today. And I recorded it last night, and I went to sleep very late. I went to sleep at like 5 in the morning. And I actually talk about what time it is in this actual video. So you can check this video out, and it's available right now on Patreon. And it will come to YouTube members later. Because right now, the $5 perk that I've got on YouTube members is meant to be for live stream watch-alongs. but I'm gonna have to try to bring over the exact same Patreon tariff here, or the Patreon kind of like level, to basically put them on here as well. So that's what I'll be doing. You're gonna have to go up to the second level in order to gain access to these, so that way it's the same as it is on Patreon. So yeah, that's what I'll basically be doing. So let me got a bit of housekeeping here. Now that I've got all of you updated, I think we can now congratulate Electrify, who has been a member for 5 months. Thank you very much, buddy. Your support is really appreciated, and it really helps. And he says, do you buy digital movies, Eric? At very low prices, I then buy them, or if there's no other choice. Other times, I've got relatives, or I have friends, or in a couple of instances, I've actually had... well, yeah, mainly it's family and friends. They actually say give me access, and I'm able to use them. But yeah, so I'm gonna be doing this more. I'm also gonna be watching that Nosferatu eventually, and I'm thinking of doing a similar format to this, and I'll put it up on my Patreon and YouTube memberships as well. So yeah, that'll be something that I'll also be doing. Like I said, eventually I will be watching Loki live every single week. We'll do one on YouTube where we can watch it live together, like we did for Nightmare Before Christmas. And again, that will be for the $5 perk on YouTube memberships, and that will be specifically for YouTube members, something that we can do together. Alright then. Batman says, Eric, are you excited for Daredevil Born Again? I did a trailer reaction on my Patreon. All you gotta do is donate $1 and you gain access to it. So check out my Patreon trailer reaction. Or, if you're a member here on YouTube Members, you will actually be able to watch my trailer reaction here as well. So, it's available. Okay, so Electrify, thank you very much for your 5-month subscription. And you can see over here that your logo, the Eric Carter logo, is changing. The longer you're a member, it'll eventually turn into gold around the logo, the little badge right there. Yes, Electrify, I did see your milestone. Dead Wolf Production says, hey Eric, sorry I missed last week's stream. No worries at all, buddy. I'm glad you're here now. I'm glad all of you are here now. I've been so hard at work that it is so nice to see all of you guys again. So thank you very much for dropping by and for joining the stream. And let's see. So you guys are all aware that this is available on Patreon, so I'm going to take this down in a few seconds, because we've got a new YouTube member to congratulate. Oh, Ethan's Drawings. Let's see who else is here. Saeed, Big Bash, Connor, Good Times. Like I said, we'll get to you in a second. Selena. Selena, my worst video is coming after this stream. I'm going to create the thumbnail, then I'll publish it. So very shortly after this stream. And then, let's see, we've got Crazy Cat Lady. We've also got Jess here. Jess says, but get Megamind 2 out of my face. It sucks. I'm going to be doing a quick movie review of Megamind 2 because the G Gamer has asked for it. So now I've seen it. Now I can take my time, write my notes, write my review, and that will eventually come up. So Eric, did you hear that Arkham Batman is still alive, apparently? Yes, Khan. It's great to see you again as well, buddy. Yes, Khan, I've heard of that. I have heard of that, yeah, he's coming, well, they're saying that all the characters did not die. They were all clones. You can tell it's a retcon because they clearly have not thought it through. And in the end, it turns out Wonder Woman is the only one, the real hero that died in the end. It was just a pathetic game. Really was pathetic, and you can tell that the backlash got to them and they changed it. That's basically what has happened there. Alright. I think I've got all that caught up, except for... Good Times. We've got to congratulate a brand new YouTube member. So, let me get this... let me get this out of your face right now. Whew, just gotta set this all up. Let me move these out of the way. This is what happens when you do this all live. You got to edit your stream live as well. Alright, so we're back here, and then we're gonna get to this text right over here. And where is your... There we go. So, here, we're going to go back to the usual screen. There you go, finally. Took a while to transition, that did. So we're going to the new screen, and if you look over here, right below me over here, where it says new YouTube and Patreon members, we have long-time and loyal viewer, Good Times. Congratulations, buddy, for becoming a YouTube member. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all your support over all this time. Your donation and your subscription on YouTube members will really help support the channel. Because I don't even know if I should be telling you guys. You know what? I'm not going to. Let's just say that I'm only going to be doing this for a few more months the way I am, YouTube the way I am. And if it doesn't reach a level of success that I need it to reach, my time on YouTube is going to have to be reduced, is all I'm going to say right now. So hopefully by the time I turn 30, which is going to be this June, I'm hoping that there's a big uptick in terms of the performance on my YouTube channel. If there is, I'll continue, as I always have been. I'll keep working hard to get these videos out, and I've got plenty that I'm working on right now, and quite a few which are already finished or near finished, and you get to see them. And yeah, so basically I'm hoping that we reach a certain level of growth on the channel, and if we do, great, and I'll then continue making more content as I usually do. If not, I'm gonna have to be thinking of certain other options, basically. Let's see. Oh, look at that. So yeah, Good Times, congratulations, and thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member. Always appreciated. And we've got some super chats coming in. So we've got a $2 super chat from Batman's Gamer. And we got a $2 super chat from Electrify. So, Batman's Gamer says, you see the Superman TV spot and Supergirl look. I've not seen the Supergirl look. Is it when she was sitting on, when you saw the back of her head? The back of her head as she was sitting on her actor's chair or something? I did see that. And yes, I did see the Superman TV spot. I didn't see it properly. I saw someone review it and they showed the footage. Looks really cool. It was a very small bit of footage that they showed us. Everything else was basically the same, though. There was very small bits of new footage. So yeah. And then we have Electrify, who asks, predict what will happen in Avengers Doomsday. I think in Avengers Doomsday they're going to introduce Doctor Doom, of course, as Tony Stark, and I think the Russo brothers might do it from the perspective like they did with Infinity War, where Thanos was basically the main character of that film. That's what I think they're going to do in the first movie, is have Doctor Doom essentially be the main character. And I think they're going to have him kill a bunch of MCU characters. Because as you all know, there are a lot of MCU characters that have not taken off. And I think what they're going to do is kill off all the dead weight. So they're going to do that to make him seem intimidating. So that's what I think is going to happen. They'll kill off a bunch of characters that they don't want, or some actors that might have rubbed the studio the wrong way. That's what I think is essentially going to happen. And then Avengers Secret Wars is going to be the one where all our heroes come in to fight, basically. That's what I think is going to happen. Okay, and Good Times says, welcome to the member... Oh, Electrify is telling Good Times, welcome to the member community. And Good Times says, thank you. These streams are great. I had to be a member. Well, I'm glad you enjoy the streams, Good Times. And your name now is also green and lit, so that means I'll be able to see your name through these streams now as well, specifically. Yeah. Yeah, you got a gold star next to your name now as well. That'll change eventually, the longer you're a member. Ethan's Drawing says, how's your day been, Captain Eric? My day has been good. Very, very busy and exhausting, but it's been very good. I'm actually looking forward to getting some sleep as soon as we're done with the stream and as soon as I upload my worst movies of the year list. I'm actually looking forward to getting some sleep. I really feel like I need it today. So, yeah, share, when I upload my worst movies list video, share it, and let's see if we can get as much views as we possibly can. So by the time I wake up, it'll be really cool to see just a view spike or something. That would be nice. Let's see. There was a lot of work that went into making that top 5 worst movies list. Some movies that you guys have wanted me to talk about might also make an appearance in there where I actually finally get to talk about them. So yeah, you can really look forward for that to that top 5 worst movies list. Rohan, great to see you. The Logman. So, oh, it's Fireboy, Charleston. It's Trevor as always. It's great to see you guys. Seriously, I love seeing you guys every single week. It really is. David, he says, have you watched the trailer for The Monkey? And if you did, then tell us what you think of it. I've not seen the trailer. I think I've heard of it, but I've not seen it. Let's see. Joshman says, that means more negativity, and that means more garbage to talk about. Fireboy, I've been good. Thanks very much for asking. Movie fan sent a super chat. Did I not? Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I saw it, but I don't know why I must have missed it. Sorry, movie fan. See, I like how you guys have you got each other's backs, which is always good to see. And you got my back by reminding me, so thank you very much for that. Movie fan says, Eric, what are your thoughts on the Oscar nominees? Honestly, I've not even looked at all of them. I've looked at some of them. The big one that has gotten a reaction from people is that Zoe Saldana project, which seems to have just, like, sweeped so many Oscars. And when you actually look at what some of that show is like, it's surprising it got nominated for anything. There's something very cheap and tacky about it. And I've not seen the show, so who knows? The show could be great. But there is something very tacky and not right about that show, and how the heck did it get all those nominations? I think there's some foul play going on here, if you ask me. That just doesn't make sense, how it could get all those nominations. Amelia Perez, that was it. Dune 2 got in. That's good that it got in. But he wasn't nominated for it wasn't nominated for Best Feature though, was it, Dune 2? And I don't think Denis Villeneuve got nominated for Best Director, did he? So what categories did Dune 2 get into? Big Bash, don't worry about it. You've joined so many streams. If you want to join another one, sometimes that's okay. I'm not going to hold you to that. I will hold you to the animated character though. What's going on with that? I'm actually really rather curious. And Jess has done a $5 super chat. And Jess says, but yeah, movie fan, the Oscar nominees, from what I've seen, it was quite a boring year, to be quite honest with you. There's not much stuff that I'm really rooting for on that list. I am the thing that I'm probably going to take away is the fact that the Penguin got nominated at the Golden Globes and won for Colin Farrell. Did that get any nominations at the Oscars? Like I said, I've only seen part of the list. I didn't have time to look through the whole list because I've been just so super busy. Now Jess has asked, Joker 2 got nominated for a Razzie Award. I know. I actually talk about that in one of these upcoming videos that I've got. Brave New World is going to bomb due to its reshoots. Yes. And why did you change your mind about the DC reboot in 2018? Well, that's because I think I was having a bit of an emotional response right then when I said I'm going to boycott it. But you don't need to boycott it. That's the only reason to boycott something is if, like what happened with Scream, when they fired Melissa Barrera for those political reasons, and she was being very diplomatic. She was being fair to both sides, and they didn't like that she was being fair to just, like, even the smallest bit fair to the Gaza side. Even though she was being fair, like I said, to both sides with what she posted at that time. And they then just fired her. So that is a reason where I'm like, if you boycott that movie, I totally understand. That was just wrong. But wanting to boycott it for the reason I wanted to, I was just getting frustrated at the time, and let's just say that you mature over the years. Sometimes when you do this YouTube thing, when you're trying to talk about movies and stuff, you kind of make that your whole world. And it isn't your whole world. As much as we enjoy movies, there is much more bigger things that go on. At the end of the day, these are entertainment. That's all this is. It's all entertainment. And we shouldn't get that invested to it unless it kind of like crosses over into real world stakes. Which, like I said, with Scream 7 and the Melissa Barrera situation, it did. The Johnny Depp situation, it did. This new Blake Lively situation, it also has. So yeah. Gregory says, what are your upcoming videos? Well, one of my upcoming videos one of my upcoming videos is the top 5 worst movies list, which I'll publish after this live stream. Another one of the videos I'm doing is with regards to budgets. Ooh, what's happening? What's happening? Where's the alert box? Josh is not funny. There you go. Did I get it in time? Oh, I'm sorry. I got to put that alert box right in the top. Oh, it's just a shame I missed that. Sorry, buddy, but I do see your message. Josh is not funny. If you do a Streamlabs chat through Streamlabs, that the link I provided in the description and in the chat that I've pinned, if you do your donation through that, it will be shown on the screen. It was just covered this time, which I apologize for. Anyway, he donated. Josiah is not funny. Has tipped £1.12. Thank you very much, buddy, for that. And he asks, "Hey Eric, do you have any graphic novel recommendations? I have a copy of All-Star Superman on the way that I ordered online." Oh, cool. I've been meaning to read that, but I've not read it. Yeah, in terms of graphic novel recommendations, I really enjoyed Batman the Long Halloween. Dark Victory took a while to get going, but once it did, I thought it was really good as well. And I haven't read it yet. No, I read this one, Batman Hush. That was also a fun one. Not a fantastic one. I think the art is better than the story, but it was a good one. And then there's also, what's the other one? I've not read it yet. The Court of Owls. I have that on my iPad. I've had it on my iPad for a few years now. Still haven't read it, but I intend to at some point. So those are my recommendations. And also, Avatar The Last Airbender comics that continued from where the show left off. You can read those, and those are fantastic as well, so I'd recommend that. But yeah, Jess, Joker 2 did get nominated for a Razzie. Not good for that movie. It was definitely not good. So yeah. Let's see. I've not read any Stephen King books, Trevor. I wish I did, but I just haven't. I was a Harry Potter kid growing up, so I read all those books. Let's see. Okay, the Fergus Review has done a $10 donation with Australia. Very much for that, buddy. And he asks, "I just watched another episode of Arrow Season 2, and I'm so close to watching more Arrowverse shows, and I can only find the DC's LOT Legends of Tomorrow Season 3 on DVD in the complete series box set. Wow, they didn't even put Legends of Tomorrow on Blu-ray. That's kind of surprising." Yeah, the Super Chats are coming in today, which is very appreciated and really helpful, so thank you very much, guys. Like I said, if you donate through Streamlabs, 100% of the donation comes to me, and none of it goes to YouTube. So, if you feel comfortable donating through Streamlabs, which honestly, I think they are far more reliable than YouTube is when it comes to donating. But if you feel comfortable in donating through them, then please do so, because that is the best way. And like I said, it also has a cool animation pop up on the screen for you. So, boycotting Brave New World. I think I know why you want me to answer that question. Didn't they fire a Palestinian actor from it? Or either they fired one, or they cut them out completely. But there's an Israeli character in there that they've kept in, despite everything that Israel has done. I know why you're asking me that question. For the reasons like that, I would, but I'm reviewing the movie for you guys, so that's part of my job where I have to watch the movie to review it, so yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it for that reason. But yeah, watching another episode of Arrow Season 2. Yeah, the Fergus Review, seriously, Arrow is an amazing show. And when you watch Arrow Season 3, watch it one episode at a time with The Flash, because those shows came on back to back, and sometimes the characters, when they would potentially connect or talk to each other, and the characters would talk about on both shows that, oh, I just talked to Oliver, or oh, I just talked to Barry, you will see it. There's a crossover that you actually get to see between characters. So yeah, watch it. If you watch one episode together, one after the other, it syncs with the episodes sync with each other. So that's what I'd recommend you do when you get to season 3. All right, next question, super chat. We've got Killick White, who has done a $5 super chat. And he says, "Next time you should try the most mediocre movies of the year. My apologies for missing out on some of the streams. How's your 2025 so far?" Well, Killick, it's great to see you again. And that's quite alright. The stream has been good. This 2025 has been good so far. It's been pretty good so far. I just don't like that one. Already in 2025, and we're already towards the end of the month. I feel like January has barely even started, and the month is already over. We're gonna be through. We're gonna be finished. We're gonna be through 2025 in no time at this rate. We got a $5 Australian from. Hang on. 5. And we got $5 from the Fergus Review channel. Thank you again, buddy, for your donation. I really appreciate that. Let's see, what are you saying? I'll only get the DC's Legend of Tomorrow Complete Series DVD box set if I like the Crisis on Earth X crossover. I can't remember if I almost... Did I review that one or did I not review that one? I did review some of the crossovers, the DC CW crossovers, on my channel. So look, run a search for those and you'll find it. So yeah. Joshman says, Eric, I'll ask you a question about the Versus video. Post it again and I'll see if I can read it. Like I said, there's a lot of questions that come in, so that's why I say super chats really do help. That way I can see your question. And if you do it through Streamlabs, it'll pop up on the screen, then I'll really see your question. So there's definitely no missing it that way. Let's see. Are we going into the stories, Eric? Yeah, we'll be going into the story. Oh wow, we're 35 minutes in. Definitely should be going into the stories. Hey bro, when is the Moana video coming out? The Moana video is practically near completion. I just had a lot of like the top 5 best and worst movies to work on, and then I had a couple of other stuff to work on, some Patreon stuff to work on. That's why it's slowed down, but I'm near completion on that. I'd say that's 80% done. I just got to animate posters, put some extra footage in, get the intro done, and get the outro done as well. But that video is I'm getting much closer to completing it. I'm also trying to find music to put in the background, and I'm kind of struggling with that. There's not much Moana-like music. So if you guys know of any old video game music that sounds very Moana-like, let me know, and it should make a good fit, I think. Eric, what do you think about Sonic 4 apparently being the last Sonic movie with spin-offs? I don't believe it will be the last movie. I'm sure they'll make more. If it keeps making money, they'll keep making more. So I don't think it's going to be the last one. But trust me, I don't think it will be. Alright then, with that said, the background music I used for my Little Mermaid versus video, says Charleston. Alright, I'll think about that. I'll take that into consideration. Thanks. Hawaii music, I think it will fit. Okay, cool. You guys are so cool. You actually give me those advice. That's actually good advice. I'll look back at the Little Mermaid video and I'll find it. Alright then. Time to get into the first story. Right here. And would you look at that? Looks like I am not centered in the shot. Let me sort this out. Bear with me. There we go. That's should fix it. Alright, let me get my notes up here. Okay. Here we go. Alright, so Captain America Brave New World. The budgets for this movie, there's been a lot of speculation going on about it. Basically, there is just so much reshoots that has been done for this movie and so much word of mouth about the bad test screenings that it's been getting, and how after each test screening, Marvel have been doing more reshoots, and still, the test screenings have been coming back very poorly. And this is not just your random people you pull off the people, you are from internal test screenings, meaning these are people that work for Disney, who are being the test audience, and even they don't like it. And the test audience, if they work for Disney, they're going to be nicer. So if they don't like it and they're being nicer, what is an audience going to think who don't work for Disney? They're going to be much harsher towards it. So what they're going to be doing is, like I said, they're going to be doing more and more reshoots to try and combat this, because it's a real problem for them. However, it does seem like they've actually come to a point where the movie's coming out next month. They can't do any more reshoots. But that said, they've still done so many reshoots that the budget must have ballooned up at this point. So people have been wondering, well, what is the budget then? The budget should be, people were speculating, somewhere from $250 to $300 million or even more because of the amount of reshoots. I would say far more than 250. I would say it should be probably in like the... Let's just say, put it this way, it should be 250 to 350 plus is what I think it is at this point. And would you believe it? Disney came out with a number, and people were like, "Oh, what's the number? Well, how much did you spend?" And they said it was $180 million. Now, let's just recap what they've done with this show, with this movie. They've given it countless rewrites and reshoots, not just 1, 2, 3, countless, many rewrites, many reshoots. On top of that, there was a writer's strike, so that also delayed the movie and also meant that it cost more to make that film in the end. And on top of that, they did even more reshoots. So this movie is right now like on an insane level in terms of its budget. And as we all know, when Marvel do reshoots, the VFX artists who spend so much time working on the effects shots are told to throw out all that work you've been doing for the last several months, and here we're going to give you these new reshoot shots, and you need to get this done by the end of the week. That's why the special effects always look so fake in MCU movies, and why when we look at the trailers, the effects look so bad. Compare the Captain America Brave New World trailer effects to the trailer effects that we saw in Superman from James Gunn, a movie that is like 6-7 months off when we got that trailer. And the movie still looks so much more polished with its CGI than a Marvel movie which is coming out in just next month. It just goes to show how Marvel are not doing it right when it comes to the VFX artists, and that's why their effects never look good. And they always look unfinished and unpolished and fake and everything. It's all to do with their reshoots. So basically this movie has gone through so many reshoots, and all other MCU movies like this have had gargantuanly high budgets. So with that in mind, the Marvels had a huge budget, Thor Love and Thunder, Ant-Man the Wasp, Quantumania, heck, even Secret Invasion on Disney+. All of these had insanely high budgets. And yet somehow they expect us to believe that Captain America Brave New World, which went through all the same production woes as those projects, only cost $180 million. There is no way in heck it cost that much. It cost... Do you know what I think? I think this $180 million budget is just the initial budget. The budget that they set for the movie at the very beginning. And I bet you it's not taking into account all the reshoots they did. If it did take into account all the reshoots that they did, then I think we would get a more accurate number. But yeah, instead we got this. It's such a lie. We know this number is not true. It holds no weight. But Disney know that they are going to get... And keep in mind that there's marketing on top of the already high budget they got. The thing, they know they're going to get so much bad press because Disney have gotten like a lot of good, like they got 3 good big hits in 2024. They had Deadpool and Wolverine, Inside Out 2, and Moana 2. Say what you will about the quality of those movies, they ended up reaching over $1 billion, especially Inside Out 2. So Disney seemed to think that we're on a roll right now, and they had Mufasa, which just did okay in comparison. And they think that we're kind of on a roll right now. We need to keep this momentum going. But I bet you they thought, once when they looked at that budget in the end of Captain America Brave New World, they knew we can't put these numbers up because this will be an embarrassment. And that's why I think they've just said, you know what, we'll put the initial budget up there, not the reshoots budget. And that's why we got this number. And I think it's very disingenuous, and I think Hollywood are known for fudging the numbers a lot. They've always fudged the numbers. But this is on a whole other level. This really is on a whole other level of fudging the numbers. So yeah, this is not good for Disney, but I'm telling you, I bet you the reason why they're doing it is because, like I said, they're afraid of the failure that they're going to be seen as if the actual budget for this movie was put out there. And keep in mind that after Captain America Brave New World, what do Disney have coming out next? They have Snow White and the... Well, not Snow White and the Seven, just Snow White. Snow White has gone through the exact same production problems. Multiple rewrites, multiple reshoots. It's also had to, had to go under the writer's strike as well. And that movie is baked into so much controversies, and it's going to have a huge budget because they had to shoot the movie essentially the second time to get those CGI dwarves in there. You know this movie is going to be, like, it's after Brave New World as a flop, that is also going to flop. Snow White. And then after Snow White, what do we have then? Thunderbolts. And Thunderbolts looks like just leftover characters from Disney Plus. It looks like a Disney Plus project, not a movie for theaters. And that's why I think they are really trying to... underplay the loss that they feel like they're gonna get with Brave New World. It shows they don't have confidence in it. Now, keep in mind, I have got a dedicated video that I am making about this particular subject matter. So you can watch that, and when you see that, you will be able to get much more of my detailed and constructed, properly constructed arguments and opinions in that. So, yeah. Also, bear in mind that Disney have lied about their budgets before, and then when their UK tax returns come in, we find out that the reshoots ended up costing more than we thought. So, there is no doubt in my mind, I think, that they're lying about this budget. It just seems too good to be true. I mean, that is already way too high for a Marvel movie to cost this much when it's a Captain America movie. But for Disney, this is downright humble spending, this is. And it makes no sense that it would just cost him $180 million to make. That makes no sense whatsoever. So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you believe this, or do you think that this budget is also just a load of baloney? And we got while you write down your answers, we've got a $2 donation from Electrify, who says, "Have you heard Disney shills on the internet?" No, I haven't. What have they been saying? The only thing I know that Disney shills have been saying is there are some of them that are just trying to say Mufasa is like the best movie ever made and stuff, and that Sonic 3 sucks. Those are the Disney shills. I don't know. What else are they saying? Good Time says, "We'll see you when the film comes out." We will. That's also what the point I make in my video that is coming up. We'll have to see in the final movie. Trevor says, "Sonic 3 even had better effects than what we were seeing in Brave New World." Yeah, it does. Big Bash says, "Mufasa is stupid. How is Bye Bye a menacing song?" I know, that was a cringy song, that was. Saeed says, "They are saying that people want this movie to fail." Well, a big reason why is because of many reasons, but I think the reason people want it to fail now is because Disney just don't seem to learn. They keep writing these terrible scripts, and they say, even though the script sucks, it doesn't matter, just film it, and then we'll fix it in post later. And then the movie sucks, surprise, to nobody's surprise, and then they say, alright, let's do rewrites and reshoots. And then they keep on doing rewrites and reshoots, and it makes the special effects suffer, it makes the movie overall suffer, and in the end, people are like, how about you just write a good script first, and then put the movie into production? That's what James Gunn said he's going to be doing. But Marvel have not been doing that, and they've just been continuing with the same crappy business practices. This is the same business practices they've done for Thor Love and Thunder, for Secret Invasion, for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, for Captain America Brave New World. So many movies they've done this with, and it's just resulted in failure for all of them. And that's why people are annoyed. So I think if this movie was made through the proper channels, and it was made as like a proper, like, competent piece of work, then people would be more excited for it. But because they keep hearing about the reshoots, they keep hearing about the rewrites, they hear about the constant failures in the test screenings, it's made people just lose faith in it. And they're like, people are like, we know this whole way of how Disney is managing their projects and how they're working is just ineffective. So that's why I think people want this movie to fail, is because this is just like another one of the several MCU movies. The Marvels had a very similar issue as well. When they made it. So it's like people are aware that Marvel are not making the movies the way they should be, in a competent, high quality way. So when people hear that it's been made like just thrown out and rushed, and there's no care put into it, then yeah, people are going to say we want it to fail. And can you blame them for wanting it to fail? So it really is on Disney. Make a good product, and they're not putting in their passion, they're not putting in the effort, they're not putting in the work. I still don't know why they're making this movie. It made sense after Captain America gave Falcon his shield in Endgame, but now you're watching and it just doesn't make sense. You're thinking that after Falcon Winter Soldier, and given what the current state of the MCU is, he doesn't even seem like he's the new leader of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it's kind of just thrown all of this like just out of order. It's just chaos in the MCU right now. And because the other movies have failed, it's brought people's confidence in Marvel down. And also, the bigger universe is also bringing people's confidence down because they're not handling the universe well. How does this movie tie into the bigger picture? It really doesn't. So the Russo brothers are going to be making Avengers Doomsday and then Avengers Secret Wars, but there's no movie that really builds up to it. Fantastic Four is rumored to probably have some kind of lead into it, but we should have had several movies leading into it. All these movies did when they were being made was had the intention that Kang was going to be the big bad. But Kang in Ant-Man 3, that was supposed to be the baddest Kang of all of his variants, and he got beat like a bitch. And they're trying to say that, yeah, he's supposed to be the big bad guy that we're supposed to be fearing and leading up to. It's like, come on, no one's going to fear that guy. So yeah, I think it's a complete mess what they've done. And that's all these things combine and form a big picture as to why people are not into the MCU. And yeah, they do want a lot of these projects to fail. And I gotta say, people thought that Deadpool and Wolverine would be a movie that was good enough to bring this to bring the MCU back on track. But if this is what people are saying now about the upcoming projects, it shows that Deadpool and Wolverine, that even they couldn't save the MCU. So yeah, I don't think Fantastic Four will save it either. Gregory says, at this point, just stop watching the MCU. We haven't had a good one since 2023. Yeah, my electric power is more powerful than Kang, says Electrify. Yeah, and I wouldn't doubt it, buddy. I would fear the Avengers going up against you than I would them going up against Kang. Jess says, I mean, I love Doctor Doom. Khan says, speaking of Deadpool, you know, Reynolds controversy. I did. Ryan Reynolds, I always thought he was a nice guy. Turns out he isn't, if you read what's going on there. And I will make a video about that at some point as well, so yeah, I've already been writing some notes and things, so I'll make a video about that eventually too. That Blake Lively seems like a piece of work as well. Big Bash says, I fear Ghost Freak more than Kang. Yeah, I fear him more than Kang too. Ghost Freak actually was kind of scary in Ben 10 if you go back and watch. When he showed his true form and everything, much scarier. Good Times says, I think I've moved on from the MCU to the Sonic movie universe. Good storytelling, great VFX, and everything about it. Yeah, that's definitely a universe that you could move on to. I'm going to move over to the DCU and Matt Reeves' universe, personally. But yeah, I can see you jumping onto a Sonic universe and finding more joy in that than in the MCU. Cole says, hey Eric, I finally watched Boy Kills World and I loved it. Oh, great, buddy. I'm glad you enjoyed it. What did you like about it, and how would you rate it at the end? It really was a great movie, that was. It was so much fun. It took its concept, it did not have any wasted time, and ooh, that twist. I want to know what you thought of the twist. No spoilers for anyone else, just in case no one else here has seen it, but I want to know what you thought of that twist. Trevor says, Gerald Robotnik was more of a villain than Kang. Yeah, he sure was. Those two were funnier than any of these Marvel villains, and they also pose more of a threat, especially Gerald, as you got to the end of the movie, and you find out what his, what his whole motivation was. He becomes very chipper and comedic, but he's still very threatening in that. Gregory says, what score would you give all the movies on the best of year list? That's a good question. Let me have a look at my list. I've got my script and my notes right here. Alright, Deadpool Wolverine, I'll give it a low 7. No, should I give it a 7 or a low 7? I'm trying to reflect on it. I'll just give it a 7. I'll just say 7. Sonic 3, I can't tell you that because I'm going to be making a versus video, so I don't want to say it. Smile 2, I think that was a high 7 or a low 8. That's what me and my brother said coming out of it. It was a high 7 or a low 8. I'll say a very, very high 7. Transformers 1, I'll give that a low 8. The Wild Robot, I'll give a 9. And Boy Kills World, I'll also give a 9 out of 10. Alright, let's see. Selena says, what Ryan Reynolds controversy? There's a movie called... Oh, what was it? The World's End... Not The World's End. Guys, help me out. What was that Blake Lively movie called again? I keep thinking The World's End, that Simon Pegg movie. It Ends With Us, that is it. It Ends With Us. It's a movie that is based on a book, and it's about domestic... What's the other word you can use for that? I don't think there is. Domestic apple juice, if you guys remember that reference. It's basically about domestic stuff that happens in a household, you know, that kind of toxic relationship. It's supposed to be a book about that. Starts off as a romance, turns into that. And the director of the movie, Justin Baldoni, he found the book, loved the book, he bought the rights to the book, and he wanted to make a movie with it. And I don't know if he asked to get Blake Lively in or someone recommended her, but he was recommended to cast Blake Lively, and the author of the book recommended that he play the male character in the lead role, the male character in the relationship. And he did, and ultimately it was basically a thing where Blake Lively tried to steal the movie from him. She's the actress, he's the director, and he is also adapting this book, and he paid for the rights to this book. And yet she was trying to take full control of the movie away from him. There's even recorded footage that shows she's trying to direct him, essentially she's trying to be the cinematographer as well, and he's basically just taking control back as the director. And then he's doing it very nicely, but then she's accused him later of saying that he was again, I don't know if I can use these words on YouTube because they don't like it, but let's just say that she said that he was behaving very inappropriately towards her. She's accused him of that. And she's essentially trying to cancel him, basically, because she's given all these horrible stories, but then he's giving text message evidence. He's also giving evidence with regards to like video footage showing that, look, these are the scenes she says where I was being inappropriate, but look, here's the footage. Does it look like I'm being inappropriate? Does she look like she's uncomfortable? None of those things. But ultimately, yes, it seems that she's being dishonest. And then also, it turns out Ryan Reynolds also made fun of him. The Nice Pool character, essentially, he based it off of the Justin Baldoni director. Because look into it. Nice Pool, believe it or not, he's got the ponytail and everything. That character was basically written to basically just be a complete mockery of Justin Baldoni. And then in the end, what happens? Deadpool holds his dead body, and Blake Lively shoots him. And yeah, that's basically what it was. It was not a good look on the two. And Ryan Reynolds was also basically pulling some stuff to get him cancelled, Justin Baldoni. But Justin Baldoni's got the proof that, no, that's not the case. And Ryan Reynolds, the fact that he's trying to beat someone much smaller than him on the social chain, the fact he's trying to beat someone much smaller than him down, is not a good look for him. And that's what people are really catching on, is that this seems to be just those two bullying this smaller director. Alright, so, like I said, I'll try to make a video about it at some point. Now, where was Cole's comment? Let me quickly respond to that. Cole says, the first part of the twist I thought was pretty great, but the second part honestly had my jaw dropped, if you know what I'm referring to. Was there a first part to the twist and a second part? Oh yeah, that part. Yeah. The first part, yeah. And then the second part connects to the first part, yeah. I saw them as like one big twist, but yeah, technically you could break them into two. There's one moment of realization, then there's the other, like the answer as to how this happened, or how this stopped happening. Yeah, that was really cool. Good time says, Eric, do you drink tea or coffee? I'm having some green tea and was curious about what you drink. I've been drinking green tea for as long as I can remember, like 10 years maybe or something, so green tea is what I drink. Green tea or peppermint tea or lemon green tea, you know, stuff like that. Joshman says, Eric, I was asking, will you still be seeing Captain America 4? Yes, I will. I will be still watching it. Now, I've got to answer a couple of super chats here. Oh, it's the one. The Fergus Review channel says, let me just write it down. Another $5 donation, buddy, so thank you very much for that. He says, after I finish watching the Arrowverse as well as Stargirl and Superman and Lois, I want to watch all 10 seasons of Smallville, and after that, even DC TV shows. Smallville's great, buddy. It really is. I watched it all over again during the pandemic, and it was so nice. Then my family watched it when they heard me in my room watching it, and I watched it on a projector, all 10 seasons. It was cool. Yeah, great show. I think the first 7 seasons were the best, because one of the actors leaves by the time we get to season 8. But it was still good, but it just wasn't as good without that character. But yeah, best Lex Luthor. I think Tom Welling is the best Clark Kent. Really great show. Anyway. Spirit Hero says Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively has literally become the Will Smith and Jada of 2025. Perhaps. So, yeah. Guys, have anything else to say about this story? About Captain America? Any questions you want to ask me about the movie? Whether it's related to the budget or just any questions at all? Ask them and I'll answer them. Smallville is the golden age of superhero society. Yes, I do agree. Yeah, it feels like it ages better when you watch it now because it still had CW isms in there, but they're less obvious like they are now. And back then it feels like they were done in a way that feels a bit better than they were done now. Well, quite a lot better than what they were done now. Eric, will you be doing a movie review on Captain America Brave New World? Yes, I will be. I'll be making a video on Brave New World once it comes out. Not a versus video. That'll take me a while. I'm going to make a review type video thing. Kind of like what I did with Mufasa. I'll try to do something like that. Anything you're looking forward to in Cap 4? Yeah, I'll say there's this one thing I'm looking forward to. Honestly, I'm curious to see how much of a disaster this movie was. The fact they were doing so many reshoots and some of the leaks that I read, I want to see if they changed anything because some of the stuff in those leaks from the test screening sounded really awful. So I want to see if they kept those in or if they deleted them. Basically, I want to see how bad and how much of a train wreck this movie really is. That's what I want to see. Joey Nichols says, how is this movie less expensive than Deadpool and Wolverine and most of the recent Marvel movies with all the reshoots? It isn't. It costs a heck of a lot more. I don't trust this number. I think it's a big lie. And I don't see how anyone can trust this number. It just makes no sense. That's why I said, my speculation is that this budget is the initial budget before they did all those reshoots. Because reshoots are expensive, dude. They really are. And then there was also the writers' strikes as well, so, you know, yeah. Jacinda says, have you ever seen the Thriller 24 series? The Thriller 24 series starring Kiefer Sutherland. I've heard of it. I know it's on Disney Plus, but I've never seen it. I was watching Smallville, like I said, back in the day, and I was watching a bunch of Cartoon Network shows when I was a kid, so I didn't see 24 at the time. Gregory says, can you answer my question? I can't see your question, bud. Post it again, I'll try to answer it. But like I said, if you can do it through super chats or something, I'll then see it immediately. But I'm struggling to see all your questions in all this text here. Let's see. Joshman says, Eric, do you think Disney is going to screw up on Daredevil Born Again? I think they will, but let's see what happens. Khan says, Disney have lied about their budget before. Just look at The Acolyte. Apparently its original budget was $100 million. But then we found out later on that it was actually $200 million. Its original budget. Yeah, that was another example of a show that cost so much money. I swear it cost more than $200 million, didn't it? Was it $270 million or something? Okay, Gregory says, how would you rank all the movies since 2017 that you gave the title best? Where is it gone? It's scrolled away. How would you rank all the movies since 2017 that you gave the title Best Movie of the Year? They were Logan, Infinity War, Joker, Snyder Cut, Batman Last Wish, Batman the Last, Puss in Boots Last Wish, and Boy Kills World. Buddy, that's way too much for me to kind of put together. That requires way too much thought. So I'll just give you the best one and the one that I put at the beginning of the list and the one I put at the end of the list. The one I put at the beginning of the list would be... I'll just say Joker right now off the top of my head. And the one at the end of the list would be Boy Kills World. That's what I would say. Right now, I've not given it full-on thought, but that is a good question. But that's how I'll answer it. I commit tax fraud. When is your next video coming out? Buddy, it is coming out as soon as the stream is over. As soon as the stream is over, I'm going to make my thumbnail for my top 5 worst movies of the year. And then I'll put it up on my channel. The video is already on YouTube. I just have to put the thumbnail on and click publish. So that'll be the next video. So then I've got another video where I talk about the budget of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I go into much more detail about the budget. And it's also a much bigger production kind of video. One where you hear my voice and I have all the effects going on off on screen and the footage and clips and everything. So stay tuned for that. I've got much more coherent and detailed thoughts in that. What was it? The Fergus Review channel, another $5 donation. Thanks, buddy. Fergus Review channel says, imagine if Felicity said to Oliver, you want the arrow, we are. I haven't gotten to the Flash Season 4 yet, but I do know that infamous line. Yeah, that's around the time the whole Me Too movement was happening, and the CW, they were going in hard in terms of saying, girls rule, boys stink. Literally, the old childish conversation of boys versus girls, something that you do when you're very little. They started doing that in these professional multi-million-dollar productions and these writers' rooms. And it's freaking embarrassing that they were doing that. And yeah, they did it at the expense of the characters. I'm not going to I won't say the spoiler, but let's just say that later on in the CW universe, when Superman is dropped in, they say that, well, if Supergirl leaves, we're doomed. And I'm like, but you've got Superman over there. What makes you think if Supergirl leaves, that's it, we're all doomed? It's like just boys versus girls. Guys coming in saying, oh no, I failed. And girls saying, I'm giving you a chance to do better or whatever. Like, all that nonsense. It's like, it became very boys versus girls. And I wasn't a fan of that. Got a $2 donation from Jess. Who says, action movies are better than romance. Do you agree? It depends what romance movies. I've not seen a ton, I'll be honest. But I do prefer action movies. Thanks, guys, for the super chats, by the way. I really appreciate it. And like I said, if you can, do it through Streamlabs. That is the better way to do it. If you can, that is. Let's see. Matthew Clubb is here. Said says, yeah, CW will lean over to the MCU soon. What time will the worst of list be out? After this stream. I can't give you a time because they're different time zones. But after the stream, I'm going to get straight to putting the thumbnail together and hitting publish. Then I'm going to do a few things and get some sleep. I really want to get some rest. It's been a long, long day today. Nate the Great says, hey Eric, really anticipating your next 3 videos. Oh, thanks buddy, I really appreciate that. Goat says, Eric, I'm excited to see Brave New World. Please don't make fun of me. Why would I make fun of you? If you're excited for it, that's good. But I'm just not, personally. Okay, so let's move on to the next story then. Let's move on. Okay. Alright, the next story is one that is Star Wars related. So, Kathleen Kennedy is still trying to say that she's got a Star Wars movie coming up, which she doesn't. This movie has apparently gotten a new writer. This Star Wars movie that she's apparently trying to make, apparently it's got a new writer, and now they're trying to say that we've got Ryan Reynolds. Now they're trying to say they've got Ryan Gosling in this movie. They're saying that he's in talks, is basically what they're trying to say. But the thing is, and I'll tell you guys this movie is still not happening. It's the fake Rey movie that we've always been talking about that is not going to happen because Disney aren't going to give Kathleen Kennedy the money to screw up again. The last time they did that, they gave her money for The Acolyte. And look at how that turned out. So it's not going to happen. She's not going to get that movie made. She's they're sick and tired of her. I think they're just waiting for her contract to expire so she can piss off at this point. And I gotta say, this movie at this point, everyone should know it's not happening because there's so many movies Kathleen Kennedy has announced and they've never been made. The Rian Johnson trilogy is one. She even had those Game of Thrones writers come to write and direct a trilogy of Star Wars movies, and that never happened. She also was going to make all those spin-off movies, but that didn't happen after Solo. She said she was going to do the Rey movie, and there's many other projects she said she was going to do, and they weren't done either. She said she was going to do a project with Luke Skywalker in there, and Mark Hamill came out on Twitter saying he's not going to be. And then she's got this Rey movie, which she just doesn't seem to stop with. She keeps insisting it's going to get more, and it doesn't. Not to mention, The Acolyte got cancelled, so there was no season 2. And yeah, she seems to still think that she's going to get this Rey movie done, which she isn't. They've hired a new writer, but who cares at this point? It doesn't matter if they hire a new writer. The movie's not going to be made, and if anything, this just shows that the movie is in production hell. It's in a deeper pit of production hell than even the MCU Blade movie, in my opinion. And that was already very deep in production hell. So, yeah, there is no way this movie is happening. The fact they're trying to put Ryan Gosling in there, they're just trying to get some headlines up there saying, no, the movie is still happening. See, we made promises. We're thinking of casting this person. It's like, no, Disney are not going to let you make any more movies after the shit that you've made, Kathleen Kennedy. So, yeah, that's not going to happen. So, I would say, don't buy into this. There is no reason to buy into this. And, yeah, just ignore it. That's what I would say. Anytime this kind of like BS news comes out, ignore it. Kathleen Kennedy has really destroyed Star Wars, is what she's done. That'll be her legacy. Because Skeleton Crew has basically got very low numbers in terms of viewership. And yeah, the fact it's got low viewership, the reason why is because The Acolyte is what ultimately destroyed it. The Acolyte has basically destroyed the excitement for Star Wars because the writing in it was so bad. Dead Wolf Productions says Star Wars should have stayed at Fox. Yeah, well, technically Fox weren't the ones making Star Wars. I think they were helping distribute the movie. That's what the deal George Lucas had with them. But George Lucas was the one that ultimately had control over Star Wars. 20th Century Fox, they never actually owned it. They just helped distribute it, and he gave them a cut from distributing it. That was it. George Lucas got all the money. Hui Tune More. I'm not going to cover Skeleton Crew. I saw the first episode with my dad. Wasn't very impressed. I said I'll probably watch the rest of it at some point, but I'm not going to. If enough people ask me for it on Patreon, I might consider doing it on Patreon. Like I'm doing my Creature Commandos Let's Watch right now on Patreon. I've already watched and reacted to the first episode. Because I caught a cold, I actually wasn't able to watch the rest of the episodes, and then I had to catch up on my top 5 best and worst movies lists. So now that I've done those, I'm going to get back to watching Creature Commandos and putting the rest of my reactions, my full reactions, on Patreon. And you'll be able to watch those there. So yeah, that's I'm going to be reacting to that. So maybe if people want that, I can do that with Skeleton Crew. Like I said, I have got a commission, so if anyone wants me to do a quick TV show review of Skeleton Crew, I can if you want to have that commissioned. But yeah, I'm not going to. It's not high on my list of priorities right now. Again, unless someone commissions it, then it will be on a list of priorities. So yeah. I agree, Fireboy. Get the hell out, Kathleen Kennedy. Batman's Gamer says Kathleen just needs to sign off or resign. Yeah, agreed. Kathleen Kennedy is in the chat, apparently. Give my next project a chance. It will surprise you. Your projects have already... and not in a good way. Big Bash says Finn should have been the main character. A stormtrooper turned good guy was such a wasted storyline. It was. Plus, he could have been turned into a Jedi too. That would have made him even cooler. But if you want to watch a stormtrooper bad guy turned good guy, watch Star Wars. You can watch Star Wars The Bad Batch. That's a really cool... Star Wars The Bad Batch and the final season of The Clone Wars. That's got that stuff in there for you. Eric, have you seen The Crow, says Matthew Club. I've seen the original Crow movie when I was a kid, back when movies like that would be on YouTube. I think I saw it then, that long ago. I haven't seen the remake. I want to see it just to watch it as a fun, dumb action movie, but no, I've not seen it. I've not seen it yet, at least. I don't know Gamersaw when her contract expires. It should be by the end of 2024, I heard. Either the end of 2024 or the middle of 2025. But I don't know at this point. I feel like it changes a lot. I don't even think it is changing, but I don't know. We'll see I don't know what politics are going on within I don't know what politics are going on within YouTube. I really don't. Huey Toonmore says, Eric, will your Creature Commandos videos be available to watch on YouTube? They will for YouTube members. I haven't created the perk yet, but it'll be the second perk, the second one up. When I create that, it will be for those particular YouTube members. They can watch it through Let's Watch. Well, not through the first Let's Watch perk, through the other one. They can watch it through that. Khan, I don't want to give Star Wars a reboot. To fix it, I would first say get rid of those 7, 8, and 9 movies. I would say take those out of canon. And then create a new trilogy. Call it episode 7, 8, and 9. And have George Lucas get more involved and have him come out and say this is the true sequels that we're making. And make the proper sequels that they were going to make. That's what I would say. Because the proper sequels originally apparently were going to have Darth Maul in it, but I don't know if they can do that now. We'll see what they do. But that's ultimately what I think they should just do, is make those original sequels that George Lucas wanted to make. Or start making their movies and shows like The Clone Wars only in live action, because seriously, I'm not kidding when I say The Clone Wars had it down in terms of Star Wars storytelling. Cole says, how do you give your character a lightsaber in the poster and not make a Jedi? I know. You make a really good point there. Granville says, you still working on How to Train Your Dragon Versus video? I said I would when I reach 100 patrons. Right now we're on 53. I know it might say 200 and something to you guys when you look, but the majority of those people are just free members. People that just want to get updated when I put a new Patreon post up. They're not actual paying members. So I said when we hit 100, then I will get to making it. So that's the milestone that I said. So yeah, and my Patreon starts at $1, so it's literally a very low point of entry. And once we get to 100, it helps support the channel, like I said, and allows me to do this full time, which is still a goal that I'm trying to do. And it really supports the channel, will help me going, and yeah, then you'll get the How to Train Your Dragon 3-way versus video. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. That's what has to happen, basically, is just get 100 patrons. Once that milestone is reached, I'll get to making it. Or someone can donate and commission a 3-way versus video of it. That's another option, but I would prefer, for you guys, it will be a cheaper thing for you guys if somehow we just got up to 100 patrons and it was just the $1 perk. Or if you want to go to the higher ones, because I've got much more content for those. But yeah, that's basically the whole scenario. Probably for the best that you don't the goat. Who are you talking about? Saeed, I'll consider doing that. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna, but we'll see. Jess, we're getting pissed now. What's happening? Is Jess still playing Kathleen Kennedy? Okay, so yeah, I would not put any kind of like faith into this particular story. So yeah, that's what I would say about that. Alright, now it's time to move on to the next story, which is this. Benedict Cumberbatch. And yes, I did deliberately choose that image. It's not the best looking image, but it kind of describes the state of the MCU that facial expression from Benedict Cumberbatch. So that's why I put it there. I thought it was wonderfully describes through a facial expression what the state of the MCU is right now. It's just yeah, whatever. Can you believe this? That's kind of what it is right now. So yeah. Okay, so Benedict Cumberbatch did an interview recently, and he actually let out some information. I'm surprised he let this much information out. Usually, Benedict Cumberbatch is keeping Tom Holland from giving any spoilers, but he technically gave one. It's not a spoiler per se, but he did give some actual information. Give me a second. Let me just deal with Kathleen Kennedy in the chat right here. There you go. Kathleen Kennedy's been put in a timeout for 5 minutes. See if she learns her lesson. Oh boy. What's happened here? Okay, there we go. Okay. There we go. So hopefully you guys can not have to worry about that anymore. Alright, so where was I? Oh yeah. Benedict Cumberbatch was usually the one in the press junkets that was telling Tom Holland not to give spoilers. But lo and behold, Benedict Cumberbatch is now the one giving spoilers, which is kind of funny. It really is. Benedict Cumberbatch was very good if you watch all those interviews where he was with Tom Holland, where he was basically putting his hand over Tom Holland's mouth to get him to stop giving spoilers. And now he gave quite a lot of tea. He spilled quite a lot of tea here, basically, is what he did. So the biggest bit of news that Benedict Cumberbatch gave is that of the Russo brothers' 2 Avengers movies, Avengers Doomsday, here, Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, Benedict Cumberbatch has basically said that in Avengers Doomsday, he's not in the movie at all. So in Doomsday, he's not there whatsoever. But in Secret Wars, right here, he's actually in that movie a lot, and he's got a big role in that film. So that is rather fascinating and interesting to think that he's got a lot to do in that one, and he's got nothing to do in the first one. You'd think that there might be some lead-in, like, you know, that there will be a lead-in for him to have a bigger part in the second one, but how can you not have Doctor Strange at all in the first one? That's kind of like when Hawkeye was not in the first Infinity War, but he was in Endgame. It's kind of like that. And the same with Ant-Man. Ant-Man not being in the first one, but being in the second one. So maybe that's what the Russo brothers are doing. It's one of those kind of situations, like one of those type of characters that were not much in the first one, but had a big role in the second. It sounds to me like he's basically he's the Ant-Man of Endgame, where he comes into the second movie and he's probably going to help them fix things that go down in this movie. I'm sure in Avengers Doomsday something really bad happens, and then in Avengers Secret Wars he comes in and he helps the characters get out of a rut that they're going to be really put in, kind of like how they were at the end of Infinity War. So that's what I think is going to go down. So yeah, he's got a big role in Avengers Secret Wars, and he's got a small role in Doomsday. Or sorry, no role in Doomsday. So that's quite fascinating. And one thing I will say is that I hope the Russo brothers do right by Doctor Strange, because in Infinity War, and Endgame, you find out, particularly in Endgame, the character of the Ancient One, she says that Doctor Strange is the best of us. But then when you watch Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, they did everything they could to sabotage his character, because they said in that film that he is basically a selfish prick in every universe that you look to. In every single universe, there's not one good version of Doctor Strange. He's like a selfish prick in every single one of them. And I hated that. I really did. This is a weird thing that Kevin Feige allowed to happen. He basically made a mockery of his remaining characters after Endgame. He made a mockery out of Thor with Thor 4. He made a mockery out of Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Madness. And he also made a mockery out of what was the? I just thought of the character and it just went out of my head. Oh, that was it. Mark Ruffalo as Hulk in She-Hulk made a complete embarrassment of him as well. The only character they did not, and they kind of made an embarrassment of Scarlett Johansson as well in the Black Widow movie, because that movie was only given to her when she was dead, and then that movie wasn't even really about her. It was about her family to set them up for future projects. So yeah, it's not good what they've done. It really isn't. So, but I feel like I don't think they've really screwed the guys up. They screwed up Benedict Cumberbatch, Mark Ruffalo, Thor, to the point that all three of them, mainly Chris Hemsworth, said that if I come back, it will have to be a completely different tone. Which basically said, I'm done with this funny shit. He's done with the comedy thing. So, yeah, I think that they're all kind of getting sick and tired of this. And Kevin Feige was also screwed up Daredevil and She-Hulk as well. And he was also going to screw him up again in the Daredevil show when they were going to make it an 18-episode episodic procedural court drama where Daredevil didn't even show up until like the 4th or 5th episode. They were going to do something like that as well. And it's like, man, is he going out of his way to like make these characters just suck? Even though Endgame showed them as being great. Kevin Feige has not been looking after these characters after the Russo brothers left. So I'm hoping when the Russo brothers come back in, that they bring dignity back to Doctor Strange. He is supposed to be the best of them, of all the magicians in this universe. And Kevin Feige turned him into shit. So here's hoping they fix him in Avengers Secret Wars. And I also hope that, I think Elizabeth Olsen's going to come back as Scarlet Witch. And I hope the Russo brothers do try to make better with her character too. Because she was not treated very well either, I don't think. So yeah, Kevin, I just noticed your super chat. Kevin has given a $5 super chat, and he says, last Sunday I meant to say, if Will Smith was mentioned about Chris in an interview, will he storm out? Oh, I don't know if he will. I think he's going to probably just apologize, like he has the PR apology that he gives. He'll probably just do that. And you also said they forgot to add Alfred and Bruce in courtroom scenes in Joker 2. I don't know why they would need those two in the courtroom. Plus that Bruce Wayne kid is probably much older now as well. So I don't know. I don't think they needed to do that. It wasn't what I was thinking, personally. $48 of you are watching, which is good. 49 of you now. Alright, so what do you guys think then? Boy Kill World is on Disney Plus. That can't be right. Let me look. Maybe in America's Disney Plus, maybe it's there. Maybe. Let me have a look. This has to be seen to be believed if Boy Kills World is on that. Eric, you forgot to say that he ruined Drax. Drax was already ruined. Guardians 2, I thought, ruined Drax. He was so stupid in that. No, I've got Boy Meets World on Disney Plus. I've not got Boy Kills World on Disney Plus. At least in the UK version of Disney Plus. Although we did get Big Bang Theory on Disney Plus just recently, which has always been on Netflix prior to that, and has also been on Amazon Prime as well for a bit. But now it's on Disney Plus. Let's see. The Fergus Review channel says, let me write this down as I always do. Says, last super chat for a while. Look out for my emails. Okay, what emails are you going to be sending? The Fergus Review channel. What would I give Doctor Strange? I reviewed Doctor Strange on the channel. I liked the Sam Raimi-isms the first time I saw it, the Sam Raimi-isms, but when you think about its overall, it did not continue WandaVision well, but I don't think WandaVision was a good show either. I think that really got off the rails at the end. And in the end, it was it was just very disappointing. I was very, very, very disappointed by just just his place in the MCU, and I don't like how what it did with Doctor Strange, how it made him a worse character. I think. So yeah, I think I gave it a 7 at the time, a low, but I'll probably give it like a 6 now, maybe even a 5. There was fun stuff in it, but seriously, it just got so dumb. Like, really dumb. Okay, so thanks again, buddy, for that, buddy. Really appreciate it. So what do you guys think then of Doctor Strange, the Russos getting control of Doctor Strange again? I think that's good. That's a good thing. Gamersource says, "Hey Eric, did you know that Doctor Strange 3 is apparently in the works?" Yes, I have heard of that. And they said it was supposed to come out, I think, around the time of 2026 at first. Then they said now it's coming out after the Avengers movies from the Russo brothers. So that kind of tells you right there that the Russo brothers, they are not killing off Doctor Strange if he's going to be in another movie. Or they could go with the multiverse thing, but I don't think they're going to go with the multiverse thing. I don't think they will. They shouldn't, at least, at this point. Electrify is given a $5 super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, "I always dream of a Marvel and DC and Sonic crossover film, but get your reason why you would want Sonic characters out." Yeah. First, you gotta do it in phases. You gotta make sure that DC and Marvel are in very good standing themselves first. Once they're in good standings, then maybe you can get DC and Marvel to cross over. Then eventually you can probably get Sonic to cross over. Or you can just have Marvel DC not cross over and have Sonic cross over into the Marvel or something first. I think Sonic would be better in Marvel than he would in DC because he is a bit of a chatterbox himself, isn't he? More than any of the DC characters, I think, that I can think of. Man, it's just realised it's pouring rain outside right now. Don't know if you guys can hear that. Charlton says, "I just want the MCU to end after Secret Wars." I wanted it to end after Endgame. I wanted it to have a 5-year break. You know, they could make movies towards the end of the 5 years and start prepping movies, but I didn't want any movies for like about at least 5 years. That way they could really plan their whole next phase, take their time and everything, and we could just, like, you know, like, just enjoy the meal that we've had with, you know, all the movies leading up to Endgame. Essentially, like, just, you know, reminisce on what a great feast it was. Instead, Marvel just started to keep filling us until we got overstuffed. And now look at it. Gregory, what was your question? Is Winter Soldier still your favourite MCU movie? Yes, it is. It's still my favourite MCU movie. Winter Soldier is still my favourite MCU movie. What's your guys' favourite MCU movie? Like, your #1 favourite MCU movie? Drop your comments. Let's see what your favourite Marvel movie was. MCU movie, sorry. Eric, could you do a versus video on The Crow 1994 and The Crow 2024? That would be awesome. I'll think about it. I have thought about it, but not at the moment. I've got, you know, I've got a lot of videos that I'm already working on right now. Time Shadow, great to see you, buddy. Endgame is your favourite. Jess says Infinity War. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, says Gregory. I liked Guardians 2 the first time I saw it, but the more I see it, the overbearing amount of jokes in there really was too much. They filled it with way too many, I thought. Spider-Man No Way Home. Mine is a tie between Infinity War and Endgame, says Garrett. Great to see... Oh, yeah, you're Time Shadow. The Incredible Hulk, Big Bash. Wow. You must really love that movie if it's better than all the others. Infinity War or Guardians of the Galaxy 3, says Cole. Miles says... Oh, it's great to see you again, Miles. He says Captain America Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, and Guardians of the Galaxy Vol 3. Saeed says Marvel needs to stop destroying male characters. Yeah, they've not treated them well. Post Endgame. I want a Jubilee in live action X-Men movie, but it never happened, said Jess. Well, might happen in Marvel. Khan says, mine's Infinity War and the first Captain America movie, surprisingly. Yeah, that first Captain America movie got a lot better when I saw Endgame. I remember when I saw it the first time, I found it so boring, and a lot of people said it was boring. But after watching Endgame and seeing all of the development for Captain America, for Peggy, for the Winter Soldier, and everything, it was more interesting to go back to that first Captain America movie after all that, and it was more enjoyable. You felt a lot more for Captain America in that film after seeing his whole journey afterwards. Avengers Age of Ultron. Ooh, wow. Do you remember that the Russo brothers can fix Sam Wilson? Do you think the Russo brothers can fix Sam Wilson after Captain America Forces Fireboy? Yes, I do. Because Sam Wilson was a great character when the Russo brothers had control of him. They are the ones that introduced him. They introduced him in The Winter Soldier, they had him in Civil War, they had him in Infinity War, and then they had him in Endgame, just the little bit that he was in. They did him very well. But when you see him in Age of Ultron, he was barely in that movie, he didn't really do anything. Then you saw him in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that show, that bothered me how bad he was in that, and how stupid he was in that. Particularly at the beginning of the first episode when he gave the shield away for no reason. That was so dumb. It really, really was. So yeah, there's a lot of things I don't like about how they've handled this whole thing. He was not handled well at all, and the Russos can, I think, fix him. They know him, his character, I think. Just a shame they weren't there to help him with this upcoming movie, and I do feel bad for Anthony Mackie. When you watch him in some of the early interviews the recent interviews for Brave New World, he doesn't seem very enthused. He said, I've seen a few cuts, he said, of the cuts that they did for the movie, and you could tell he was not, there was no excitement to his voice when he was saying it. He was treating it very much like a business endeavor, he wasn't excited about it or anything. Also, did you know that Star Wars movie, I forgot to mention this, with Ryan Gosling was going to be directed by the Deadpool and Wolverine director, Sean Levi. He was going to be directing it, apparently. It's like, they keep throwing names at these Star Wars movies. Kathleen Kennedy tries to. She's like, oh, the Deadpool Wolverine director made something big, so how about we get him on board? It's like, seriously, it's like she thinks we're stupid, is what she does. Gregory, I'm not going to answer, that's way too many. What are your top 10 in order MCU movies? I don't even know the answer to that question. That's way too many to just think of on the spot. It really is. So many MCU movies, I can't do that. Miles says, it's been a while since I watched Infinity War and Endgame. Yeah. Gamersource says, hey Eric, do you think Logan is better than the Winter Soldier? Yes, I do. I think it definitely is. Supersonic Adventure says, are you going to post your Megamind 2 reaction on YouTube? No, that's going to be a Patreon exclusive, and then eventually it's going to be a YouTube members exclusive. So if you want that, you're going to have to go over to Patreon or YouTube members. That's a specific video for those platforms. And people that really help support the channel and like in a in that kind of way. That's what that is for. What are your all-time top 3 worst list of movies? Well, first on the list is Cars. Oh, I've not thought about my top 3 worst. I just know Cars is up there. There's got to be another movie that I've seen that I thought was so bad. You know what? I'll put Craven up there as well now. No, that's not true. I've just thought that at the top of my head. That's why I was thinking that. Let me think. There's got to be worse ones. That wasn't the one. In my head, I was thinking, that's good. Was that the worst one? I'm like, no, there's got to be another one. Because I'm thinking about really, really bad movies here is what I'm thinking, and I can't think of it. What's some of the other worst movies? I don't know, bud. I have not really thought about it. I gotta spend more time thinking about that. Oh, Batman's Gamer has done a $2 super chat. Thank you very, very much, buddy. How do you like Sinestro's casting choice? I don't know. I actually, you guys, have you seen, guys? I actually did a community post about this, where I actually talked about the casting. So watch that. I'd recommend you watch that. Not watch that. Read that. I actually mentioned that I've not seen him in anything. There's two things that he's apparently in, but I don't know. I can't remember his performance in them. So we'll see. But he does look like he is a Sinestro type. So that's what I think is good casting about it. So I think it could be good casting, I think. Gamersaur said, Eric, the best part of Megamind 2 is when I watch another movie after it. Well, just watch my reaction. You'll see I've got actually a very similar, very different answer, but also a very similar one to yours. I actually say something when the movie's over. So check that out. Someone says, Eric, what is your opinion on grifters? What are grifters? A grifter is someone who swindles people out of money through fraud. Well, obviously, I think I would hate grifters. Someone who engages in petty or small-scale swindling. Someone who cheats others out of money. Well, of course, no one likes... Actually, that's swindlers. You said grifters, didn't you? Did that bring up swindlers? No, it did do grifters. Oh, grifters is basically a swindler. Yeah. Yeah, of course I don't like that. Unless there's another meaning to the word and I'm not using the right meaning. Huitumo says, no, man. Grifters are people who try to convince others that a movie or show is bad because of a character's race or sexuality. Oh. Well, it depends. It depends what they did. If it's just a part of the thing you didn't like you didn't like a certain casting change that they did or race change to a existing character, that's a different conversation. That can be enough to ruin the movie for you. That was one of the things people didn't like about M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender, for example. They didn't like that they cast white actors to play the different ethnic roles from the show. So yeah, that's understandable. One of the reasons why people wouldn't like it. But then, of course, there's other aspects of a movie that matter, and those people, rightfully so, don't like those movies as well. Because here's the thing: when they get casting wrong, they also get a lot of the other things wrong. They get the character development wrong. They get the story wrong. There's a lot of things they get wrong. So I think there's more to it than just that. But if it was just specifically for that, it depends on what the movie is. Because I can totally understand. Imagine if they made a movie where Blade was white. That would be enough to say that's not Blade. That's enough. That is to say that's not good. You could say the movie could be good for all you know, but that could be enough for you to be like, yeah, I can't take the movie. I just can't get invested in the movie after that. That's too much of a change to me. So I honestly understand it. It depends what the situation is. So that's what I'd say about that. All right. Has anyone else got any questions about this or anything to say about Doctor Strange and the fact that he's not going to be in Doomsday, but he's going to be in Secret Wars? Have you got anything else to say about that? If not, we'll move on to the Q&A. Good Times has done a super chat. Thank you, buddy. You've become a member, but now you've also done a super chat. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. And Good Time says, what film should the Sonic movie universe end? At what film should the Sonic movie universe end? I think it should be 10 or 15. 10 to not go overboard, I think, but 15 would be good too. I think they need to keep going until they've got no more ideas. Once they're out of ideas and they say, that's it, the well is dry now, that's it. Don't try to get more water out of a dry well. That's where the movies will start to suck. And all of a sudden you'll be getting a lot of bad press. So that's what I would say. Once they got no more ideas, stop. Much to the point, kind of like what we were talking about with the CW shows earlier. The CW shows, one of their problems is is that they just keep on continuing even though they clearly have no more story left. Smallville, on the other hand, was somehow able to accommodate 10 seasons of story. But a lot of the other CW shows, like Arrow, Flash, and all the others, they couldn't accommodate 10 seasons. So yeah, that's what I would ultimately say, I think. Big Bash says, Eric, have you played Marvel Rivals? I haven't. I tried to install it on my Steam Deck, but it would not install. So I had to... I've looked into it. I've got to go into desktop mode, and I've got to fiddle with some settings. I've not had time to do that. Like I said, I've been working on my best movies list, worst movies list. So I want to play... I've never played a game like this before online, so I really do want to play. I'm not into Fortnite or, you know, Apex or those other kind of games. So this is something that I really do want to play, but I've just not got the time yet. So I'll try at some point, but right now I've got no time to do that. Which characters would you guys say is the best in Marvel Rivals to play as? Big Bash, I know everything is free. That's why I want to play it. Apparently, if you play it on PlayStation or something, you got to pay for you got to get a PlayStation Network subscription or something to where you can then play online. But I'll be playing on Steam, which means they let you play online for free. So yeah, that would be free. Jeff the Shark, Punisher, Moon Knight on PS5 is free. It's free on PS5, but isn't PS5? Don't you have to pay a monthly subscription to gain access to playing online? That's what happened with the PS4 when I had a PS4. Spirit Hero has done a $5 super chat. Thank you very, very much, bud. He says, Ryan Reynolds to me is the exact same as The Rock. Overrated, has no range, obnoxious and up their own ass, and overused for marketing. You've done a very good description of The Rock. Although I do think The Rock can act. If you watch Fast and Furious 5, he's actually a very good actor in that. The problem is that he doesn't seem to try to act. He always does the same thing and plays the same character. And he's got kind of an ego to where he doesn't want to get hit or beat, so he'll only allow himself to get punched a few times. Like, there's actually in his contract a number specifying how much times he can get hit, which is ridiculous. But he is going to be doing a new A24 movie with, was it Benny Safdie who's directing him? And Emily Blunt's in that movie. Apparently it's meant to be a more deeper movie where he's trying to be, you know, an actor. It's a much lower budget film too. So he's trying to really showcase his acting chops there. So I'm curious to see what he does with that, personally. But yeah. I can totally see what you mean. Oh, just to clarify, you're saying, I believe that Ryan Reynolds is becoming like The Rock. I see what you mean. I think he's becoming worse than The Rock in a way. The scandal that's going on right now is not a good look for him. Saeed says, anyways, Eric, I gotta go. Take care, buddy. Really appreciate you joining the stream. Where's the other question? Jess says, where's the Red One sequel? There is no Red One sequel yet. I don't even know if they're making it yet. Apparently he's going to do a Jumanji sequel, finally. I think The Rock is just so busy. Okay, take care, Fireboy. Thanks for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. We're going to end this live stream in about 12 minutes. So, yeah, we're going to end at around that point. Okay, so yeah, go on, tell me then again, which of your favorite characters are from Marvel Rivals? We'll go into the Q&A right now. Big Bash says, I love Adam Warlock, Wolverine, and Punisher. Joshman says, Eric, I was asking before, did you think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 utilizes the PG-13 rating more than any other Marvel movie? I wouldn't say more than any other, but it did have some moments there. Really related to Rocket's past, I think. But again, it was all happening to animals, not to humans, so that was kind of like a big way they could like work their way around it. So I would say no. It does and it doesn't. Because animals is a cheap way out. You can hurt animals. It's like in animation when you can hurt robots. But when it comes to humans, that's where it's more risky. And DC has really, like, you know, gone all out in that area. They have. Just look at the Batman. Khan says Squirrel Girl is easily the best option. Saeed says, Eric, could you do the live stream a little bit earlier? Take care, bye. Next time I will. I'll try to do it around 9ish. Today I did it, I think at 11. Like I said, today I was just so busy though. And then I had, I'll try to do it sooner, basically. Yes, I will try to do it sooner next week. And take care, Saeed. Thanks for joining the stream. Good Time says Wolverine or Rocky. Wolverine both have their unique styles, which I like. Oh, cool. Trevor says most anticipated horror movie of the year. Well, what horror movies are coming out this year? Oh, Conjuring 4, because that's going to be the final one, apparently. I don't even like the director that they're hiring. He's the one that did the third movie. That third movie was just okay. The first two were really good. Some of my favourite horror movies of all time. But the fact that that same director from the third one's coming here to make the fourth one, that is not filling me with confidence. So I don't think the movie's going to be that good, but Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are such a good duo as the Warrens. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do to like end these characters, because that's going to be the final one. Jess says 28 years later, Until Dawn and Final Destination Bloodlines. I've seen enough Final Destination movies. It'll be cool to see another one, but I'm not super psyched for it personally, especially because Tony Todd has passed away. I don't know if he shot any of his scenes for it. 28 years later, I've not even seen the other 28 years movies, the 28 movies. So I can't say I'm excited for that. Until Dawn, I am looking forward to seeing what David Sandberg does, but there is something about The Conjuring, though. It was a good standing franchise, and for them to end the main movies is almost like the end of an era in a way. Started in 2013, didn't it? To end now in 2025, 12 years later. Sonic 3 or the Mario movie, says Joey. I haven't seen the Mario movie in a while. I'll probably say Sonic 3. Big Bash says Steve Bloom voices Wolverine in Marvel Rivals. That's interesting. It sounded like that's the one, that's the actor voicing Wolverine in the Wolverine game from Insomniac, from the leaks that came out. It sounds like he's voicing him in that as well, so that's interesting. That he's voicing him in Marvel Rivals. Cole, Infinity War is a 10 for me. Endgame is a 9, I'd say. Endgame gets less good on multiple viewings. It was great in the first 2 viewings, but once you know everyone's alright, it feels like, okay, it wasn't able to maintain that sense of tension, I think. In Infinity War, it was cool to see the characters lose, essentially, but then when you see them win, it does wear out on you, I think, a bit. It's like, you're like, okay, I get it at this point. What question? One of you was asking a question and asking me to answer it for you. Josh, man, what question did you ask? Eric, how's it going on Moana versus video and the Sonic movie versus video and the Puss in Boots versus video? Puss in Boots is going good. I did some more of the voiceover editing recently. Moana is getting closer to being complete. It's about 75 to 80% done. And then we've got... what else? What's the other one? Did you say another one? Where's your comment gone? Where did your question go? But yeah, basically the videos are being made, basically. The G Gamer says, sorry for not showing up. I just finished watching your Megamind 2 reaction. I'm just gonna say it made me laugh so hard. I'm glad you enjoyed it, buddy. I was exhausted after making that video because it was so late, but I had to get it done. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really am. The G Gamer paid $250 to commission that that first time watching of Megamind 2. So yeah, I watched it for the very first time. And G Gamer, I'm very glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for the support, and the support really does help. And I gotta say, watching it, I was like, I did want to get up out of my chair and stop and pause the movie while I was watching it at a point. It was draining, I will say that. It was quite draining, but it makes me feel so much happier that you really enjoyed it. So, I hope you had a great time with that. If there's any other videos you want me to do that with, let me know and we can talk about, Yeah, we can talk, we can work something out behind the scenes like we did with the Megamind one. How would you rate the first Megamind, says Trevor. I think the first one, I'd give it a 7. A good 7. So yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that, G Gamer. When are you going to watch the Loki series? Says Electrify. I'm gonna find some time once I've finished, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm trying to watch. I'm also trying to sort that out. We'll try to do Loki at some point. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get the strategy done with that, aren't I? We'll figure it out. I've got this monitor which I gotta move, then I gotta bring the other one in, and then I'll have my timer in there. That's neither here nor there. But that's part of my setup that I need to bring back, because we've been moving some stuff around. But basically, I need to just lighten up some of my load of my work that I'm doing right now. Then I'll do it, watch and react to Loki. I've not got around to watching Steins Gate. Just so you guys know, we're going to end the stream in 5 minutes. So if you've got any of your questions that you want to ask them right now. Nate the Great says, my birthday is on the 12th, so should I watch the new animated movie, the Dogman movie, or Captain America 4? Nate, those are two very different movies, and if you only got that one choice, I feel like they're two vastly different. I don't want you to feel like you've watched a much kiddier movie versus Marvel, which is kiddie in its own way, but you know what I mean. It's definitely trying to be a lot more of a hardcore movie. It might not succeed, but it'll try. Maybe you'll enjoy that, I don't know, but Dogman looks very funny to me. Dogman looks very funny, but childish too, so I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to see. But I remember seeing the trailer to that in the cinema. I was like, wow, this is actually surprisingly funny. Eric, how would you rank every Transformers movies from the first to Transformers 1, from worst to best? That's too much movies to mention. That really is. Okay, I'll try. I feel like I'm gonna miss some here. Okay, the best ones is Transformers 1, Transformers 3, by Transformers 1 I mean the 2007 Michael Bay movie. Transformers 1, Transformers 3, then Transformers 1, the recent animated movie. Then Bumblebee. Then I'm trying to do it best to worst. That's easier for me to do. And then after that, I will say Transformers Rise of the Beasts, then Transformers 4, then Transformers 5. And I hope I've not missed any out. Spirit Hero says, I'm going to take off. See you guys. See you too, buddy. Thanks for joining the stream. Joshman says, Eric, I was asking you, I know you would agree with me, but do you think the Wild Robot does far more than what Disney is doing nowadays? And do you think we're getting far better animated features? Yes, I think it is doing far more of what Disney is doing nowadays. Did you watch my best movies of the year list? I talk about that, and I say how it does a lot more than Moana 2 and Inside Out 2. It definitely felt like it was pushing animated storytelling further, whereas the other two movies from Disney just felt like they were by the numbers, and it didn't feel like it was pushing the genre forward like what Disney normally would do. In many ways, The Wild Robot feels like it's what Disney would do back when they were innovating. But now they're not innovating, they're just redoing stuff they've already done, and it's not being done anywhere near as good as they did it the first time. So, yeah, my thoughts do stand with my best movies list. Oh, you have seen my best movies of the year. Yeah, so I've described it in there. Basically, my thoughts are in that video where I talk about The Wild Robot. Gamersaw, I don't think I've seen the Transformers Prime show. I think I saw the Cybertron show on Netflix, the first season or two, and I found it so boring that I stopped watching it. The big problem was that the music in it, they didn't do a good job scoring the music, so it just felt like it was stuff was going on, but there was no music to go with it, and that was a problem, I thought. Joey says, last question. How's your Sonic Verse video going? Truth be told, I've not properly started work on that. I'm going to watch the third movie again so I can refresh myself. Because I've got to finish these other videos first, then I can move on to that. So, yeah, that's why. Joshman says, you made some absolutely wonderful points about the Wild Robot, and it is the best animated movie of the year, and I really hope it wins the Oscar more than Inside Out 2. Yeah, but isn't that cat movie, that foreign cat movie, going to be winning an Oscar? Kind of like it won the Golden Globe. That movie's not even out yet either for most of us. So, yeah, that's not coming out until April or something, or March. And I think that's somehow already going to win the Oscars, because it won the Golden Globes. Flow, that is it, Josh, man, that is it. I haven't even seen that movie. I don't even think it's out yet until a few months from now, but somehow it's competing in the Oscars already. And yeah, I bet you that's going to win. It just seems like it's got the Oscar fluff all over it. Good Time says the cat movie is Flow. It's from my country. Oh, cool. I've not seen no trailers or no nothing for it, really, but I do need to, you know, get around to seeing. What is your top 3 worst MCU movies? Oh, that's hard, that is. A lot of bad ones. I'll mention some of the recent ones, because those are the only ones really coming to mind right now. I'll say, Thor: Love and Thunder, okay, Thor: Love and Thunder is the worst. I'll say that's the worst. The number 1 was Thor: Love and Thunder. I'll also put... Oh, man. Oh, why aren't they coming to me? Okay, Thor: Love and Thunder. Okay, Thor: Love and Thunder, and then I'll put in the Marvels, and then I'll put in Eternals. Eric, did you notice Walton Gromit got an Oscar nomination for Best Animated Feature? I did not know that. I still haven't seen that movie. I want to see it, but I still have not seen it. Josh Brown says, Eric, how was Dune Part 2? I enjoyed Dune Part 2. I mentioned this on one of my previous streams. I enjoyed Dune Part 2, but I did not like the characters very much. I didn't hate them, but they just felt like they didn't really have too much to them, and I needed them to have more to them. But the visuals were great, the action was great, the music was great, the production of it was impeccable. Especially how a lot of it was practical and all that kind of stuff. You know how I love all of that. But the characters just didn't really do it for me. They weren't as rich as I wanted them to be. And that's partly why I don't think the movie, for me, would end up on my top 5 list. On my top 10 list, yes, but not my top 5 list. Oh, and would you look at that? Looks like the time is up. We went overtime instead, actually. Alright, guys. Guys, I really do appreciate everything you, like all the donations and all your support and the fact that you're watching my channel. And I've gotten more of you now joining YouTube memberships and also joining Patreon. So please do keep that coming. Like I said, there will be no shortage of content for you if you come over to Patreon or YouTube members. So I'll treat you very well for your donations, because like I said, they really do help support the channel. But I also want to give you something back in return if you do donate. So please do consider it, because I would like the channel to kind of like reach higher levels of success. If so, I can keep on doing this. If not, I might have to slow down and, like, you know, really reduce my content output and, you know, do something else as my day job. But I'm hoping I can continue doing this full time. So in order to do that, I need to kind of like reach a higher level. So if you donate, I'd really appreciate that, as it really will help the channel. All I need is, like, say, out of all of you, I just need like 1,000 of you donating $1 on Patreon, and that's it. I'm set, and I can do this as a career going forward, like, constantly. So if we can reach that, that will be great. But regardless, thank you guys very much as always for your support. I really appreciate it. And like I say, these are my favorite times of the week when I get to chat with you guys. So like I said, I'm gonna go make the make the thumbnail for the top 5 worst movies. So don't go to sleep just yet. Watch those, and then I hope you really enjoy the worst video, and then I'm gonna go to sleep and get some rest. So thanks everyone, really appreciate it, and I'll catch all of you next time. Take care.